welcome to this week's Media News with me, Gareth. I'm going to kick things off with the title you may have seen before, the year of mobile. It is coming, you know. It really is. But here's a couple of stats I stumbled across at the weekend. Consumers are set to spend $465 billion a year on digital and physical goods through mobile devices. By 2017, that's only 5 years away, people. That's what Juniper Research have said, and they also predicted that the shift could lead to mobile appliances accounting for 30% of e-commerce transactions within the next 5 years. That is massive. And so many people, of course, are still not doing a lot in the mobile space, but of course it's coming. Can't really say it enough. In other mobile news, InMobi, the ad network, who are obviously here in NZ, but also done some research in the US, they found that smartphone users spend 2.4 hours a day utilizing their phone. Amazingly, that is more than TV. You think people who have smartphones are normally hard to reach, they're busy individuals. But again, of course, they're that higher socio group, the sort of people that most advertisers crave and want to reach. Spend more time with their mobile than they do with television. What does that tell you? In media, they spend 9 hours a day with media. It goes to show how much of that total media mobile accounts for. Typically, mobile usage peaks early morning and evening, but it also generally occurs in casual settings like lying in bed, mentioned by 77% of consumers. Waiting for something, 65%. So if you want to reach people, look for cues. Not that crazy as it sounds. Women access mobile more often than men, with 84% of them saying they use them whilst in bed versus 70% for men. And whilst shopping, so all you retail clients out there, 80% of women use their phone while shopping, 26% of men. Granted, it's not only price comparisons, they're searching for stores, they're searching for offers, but still they're being used. Turning to mobile advertising, 59% of interviewees agreed they're influenced by such brand messages, and that falls to 57% for TV. Again, mobile stronger than TV. Moreover, some 53% of active mobile audience have been introduced to a product through this channel. And then 21% had said not only were they influenced, but they actually went on and made a purchase from their telephone. Seriously, it's coming. Mobile is coming. So if you need help, do please get in touch, because we can certainly tell you how to get started in the mobile space. First of all, though, you need to make sure your website is mobile friendly. Mobile payments battle heats up in the US. And this is kind of interesting because, again, you've got all the big banks, all the big credit card companies, people like Google, people like Verizon, are all obviously trying to take hold of the mobile payment space. But leading retailers have now teamed together, so this is obviously some big hitters in the retail space. Best Buy, Target, and Walmart have teamed up. 14 chains in all. I guess things like 7-Eleven, Lowe's, Sears have also joined in. But they've teamed up to make their own mobile platform for payments. It's quite something, really, but I guess it keeps the money within the retail space without having to get the banks involved. But we'll see how this changes. But they reckon $1 trillion will obviously go through America, but through smartphones. So it is a massive pool of money. So why give the bank a cut when the retailers can keep themselves? Certainly interesting. Twitter founders are at it again. Ed Wilson and Biz Stone are now taking on digital publishing, and they're launching Medium. Which goes to show pretty busy boys, these two, because they obviously started Blogger and now they've done Twitter and now Medium. But Medium, basically what it is, it means users can read, give feedback, write their own material. And all posts are organized in collections and share relevant themes and same templates. So of course, if you want to go in there and find out relevant stories around certain topics, you can just go in, punch in your topic, and all the articles that we've written be by journalists, by opinion makers, or just by general members of the public who want to express their views and have their say. It's they believe it's kind of in a way the future of digital publishing, and the fact that of course everyone wants to have their say, everyone does have an opinion, so why not allow everyone to have their say and express their concerns, fears, hopes, desires, opinions in the same place. And then of course people who just want to be readers and not creators can just go in there and see what's going on. So I guess we'll see how that goes, but I mean it's the sort of thing, I mean, not much in the social space. I mean of course people can go in there and post feedback and comment on posts and open up discussions and conversation, but we'll see how that goes. So that's Medium. Facebook. People talk about Facebook as being a way of reaching the already converted, so those people that like you are already advertising, already using your product for the most part, or alternatively, you've just run a competition and people have had to like you to enter the competition and never speak to you ever again. But what it means is you can only currently speak when you post, you can only really speak to your fans. Well, that's about to change because currently Facebook are testing this here as a premium post. They're currently testing the ability to target anyone with premium posts. So not just your friends or your people who've liked you, but everybody. Which again, of course, well, I mean, I guess you can also charge more for this, but as Facebook's an advertising platform, and that's how they make their money, they need to come up with ways for people to engage a bigger audience than just the people who like them. See how that goes. In other Facebook news, I guess the other side of Facebook is they have advertising money and they have a shed load of data. But of course, the FTC in the US have said to them, well, they're now watching, they've given them formal notice to ensure that they use people's data wisely, and they've said categorically that they cannot use or sell anybody's data to anybody without the permission of the user. As they're being watched, we'll see how that goes. The people have spoken. Yes, Facebook's nearly 1 billion users, 235 million of them play social games on Facebook. They also launched App Center back in May, and 150 million people use that each month. But they have said, I mean, this of course is a huge pool now for advertisers. There's a massive marketplace there. And of course, nearly everybody now wants to create an app. You have to make sure that app is useful, of course, and provides value. But advertisers are doing it. I mean, just look at Nike, for instance. They're doing wonders. But free is better. Yes, indeed, people would rather not pay for it, but they would rather, and they're fine for brands to have a kind of brought to you by style, so they're happy for brands to advertise them if they're giving away apps for free. Again, make sure those apps are useful. But banners in apps are falling very flat. Which kind of speaks for itself, right? Banners in apps are very much the same as banners online. They have their place. But certainly if you're a company and you have sponsored an app, that is certainly more appreciated and looked upon favorably than it is just advertising banners. So the people have spoken. For YouTube, it's all about discovery. If you're trying to target the youth, YouTube has now been found to be the #1 source for teens when it comes to discovery. This could be things about films, things about music, things about products, but mainly they looked at, for 2/3 of young teenagers in the US, YouTube is more important than radio, iTunes, CD when it comes to finding new music, new videos, and also it starts to seep through into films. But if you're a product that's going after youth, one of the best places to advertise out is YouTube. Particularly if you have content or you have a video to push, YouTube is the place to do it. So do think about that if you're going after teens. I love random acts of kindness. I do. I think more brands should do this sort of thing. I think it's wonderful. This, of course, is an example more about a company just doing a good job and doing the right thing. This is Brandon Cook with his grandmother. His grandmother was, well, she was very sick and she only had a few days to live. And this is Panera, which is a lovely clam chowder on a Friday. Sadly, it was a Wednesday, but Brandon's grandmother wanted some clam chowder, so Brandon got in touch with Panera on a Wednesday, told him the situation, and he made some clam chowder for him, just one batch just for him, and he also sent him with some cookies. So Brandon made a post on Facebook about this, just telling people the situation. His grandmother was ill, and the people at Panera were lovely, and he gave him clam chowder and some cookies. His mother saw this, and she reposted it on Panera Bread's Facebook page. No advertising was done to do this, but over 500,000 people liked it. And 22,000 people copied. So the web that this spread would be massive, because of course everybody who interacted with this post would have told their friends they'd done so. Quite remarkable, but it's a sort of thing where random, I mean, it's like I say to all clients, you should every now and again just, pay a client, pay their bill each month, pay their bill for a month, or, do something that completely random, but just an act of kindness, something that gets people talking about you in a positive light, because when these sort of things happen, people will share. Granted, it's not always going to deliver 100,000 likes, but it is a great way with engaging people and making your customers and clients feel that warm fuzzy feeling. And everybody loves a warm fuzzy feeling. Groupon is in trouble. They've obviously seen their stock price fall greatly, but they're in trouble from another area now, in the US of A, granted. But it's a bank. It's indeed a bank. Bank of America has just announced their own kind of Groupon-style deals, what it's called Bank of Merry deals. Basically, it's kind of like a loyalty scheme for customers where you get money off in lots of different places, but they've done it in a sort of Groupon style. But kind of interesting, another way for businesses to give their clients something back over and above what they offer as a service. But it's a good way of keeping your customers with you and giving them that little bit extra. Always look after your customers. If you ever leave them, that's one person you're never going to get back. Say hello to Branch.
There's nothing like a great conversation. You know, the kind that keeps us up all night and turns quick coffees into long afternoons. The kind that brings us together. But without these great conversations, our thoughts miss out on so much. Because it's conversation that allows them to grow. And the more we talk to people we trust, and the more our perspectives collide, the more our ideas can evolve. And the internet has given us the power to share these ideas with millions. But it can still be hard to have great conversations online. There's noise, outspoken jerks, off-topic bickering, and empty engagement. We know we can do better. We want to bring the intimacy of a dinner table conversation to the openness of the internet. So we're building a new way to talk to each other. We're building Branch.
Indeed. So how does Branch work? Well, you can grab anything from the web, talk about it with anyone, you select people you want to talk about, and then publish it anywhere for anyone to see. I guess it's all really about publishing your ideas. You can go obviously beyond 140 characters, and you can ask your friends, family for advice. I guess it's taking bits from lots of different websites, but I guess when it comes to the actual discussion, from what I can understand, is that you select the people who you want to be involved in that discussion. But that's Branch, launching soon. Nike, they've done a lot of good work recently, but this is something that they've done in Tokyo. I'll just show you this ad.
ルナロンとフライニットからインスパイアされたアイテムが原宿の街に隠してあります。プレイヤーはまず動き出せステーションで地図を受け取ります。地図のレベルは3つあり、様々なアイテムが隠されています。すべてのアイテムをなるべく早く発見し、戻ってこれたプレイヤーがウィナーです。さあ、まずは動き出せステーションへ。イノベーションハントを開始しています。
For all of you who don't speak Japanese, basically what Nike have done is done a three-part campaign which kind of pushes Nike's lunar lawn and Flyknit technology, which of course is tracking device which you can have in your shoes so you can monitor where you're running, you can show your friends where you're running. But with Fuel Cell, of course, which won the Grand Prix, Titanium Grand Prix Cannes, they're doing a lot now to encourage people to get into fitness and get fit and sort of kind of guess making more of a game of it and getting your friends along and competing to see who can do the most. But part one, they've turned obviously into an innovation hunt, and you can go on there and you can take part in lots of different courses and compete against your friends, and they can have a leaderboard on there. Part two, which is kind of cool, you all remember the game Pong. Well, the bats are replaced with night glad feet of 2 players, and using Fuel Band, they can again keep track of their points, and you can have a game of Pong against one another. Part 3, Flyknit, through using Microsoft's Xbox Connect, you can track the motion running speeds of runners as they jog on a special treadmill, which then visualizes the outline of themselves, and the person who knits the outline of themselves, Flyknit, portrait, right, you win. But really it's just other fun ways of getting people to take part in exercise, get out there, do the thing. And they're doing a really good job, Nike, because I mean they just stole the Olympics in the US with their Find Greatness campaign, and they weren't even a sponsor. Anyone fancy going to this? Nice, interesting ad. But this is good again. This is done in the UK, but it's a good way of brands creating their own experiences and own content and a whole heap of engagement. But they're running a competition for 7 lucky people and their plus ones to win some time on a tropical island, courtesy of Links and X, or whatever, X, Links, I guess here. But really nice idea. It's just doing something different, you know, creating something where, of course, you can create experiences for people. And, of course, online you can create a schedule of content. But a nice way of doing something a little bit different. Speaking of content, P&G did smash out of the park for Olympics Thank You Mum campaign. They worked firstly with 150 athletes and their mums, and they created films for each about, you know, the journey of, you know, through childhood and the amount of hard work and effort and blood, sweat and tears that went into it. And of course they had all of this housed on YouTube. And they do produce an awful lot of really good content, but over the course of the Olympics, 9.9 million views were done of these ads. A really engaging piece. Out of the main sponsors, they won the Olympics really at the main sponsors this year round. But even at the games, they did wonderful jobs in leveraging their sponsorship, and they set up P&G Family Home, which was basically they'd set this massive big home that helped them push or advertise obviously a lot of their products. You know, there was a Gillette grooming salon for women. There was for men, sorry. There was another one for women. The screens were powered by Duracell, they say. But of course, they had things, you know, with Pampers for where you could leave your kids. But it was a place for families of Olympians to get away from it all, feel a bit pampered, get their clothes washed, all that sort of thing. But even as an example, you know, for the salon, over the course of the event, 25,000 people use the salon alone. But it's a great way for P&G to engage with their target audience. And it's something, of course, that's worked wonders for them. And it's going to happen at the Winter Olympics and also the Rio Games in 2016. But a really good way of leveraging their sponsorship. Something else from P&G, they've said next big wave of marketing will be online video. Of course, they're already doing this to great success. But it is going to be kind of a central strategic position for most of their brands now. And they believe, of course, it will dominate the online world. Digital and television, I guess, merge and come together. But more and more people are watching more and more content, and more more people are doing this online. So it makes sense, right? And here's another great example for them, for Tide and NASCAR. They're not sponsors of NASCAR. But what happened was there was a car crash in NASCAR, and well, I'll show you this video, but basically what they did, it cost them $100,000, but they got $8.5 million worth of exposure, and that $100,000 probably all went to NASCAR to pay for the licenses to use the content. But this was an ad they created in a couple of days, and it was pushed around the web, and of course it spread because it was relevant, it was timely.
And this is a bizarre twist to this Daytona 500. A new use for laundry detergent. Whatever it takes.
Clever, right? Brands using real-time TV, yes indeed. Another thing, brands such as AT&T, Visa, Procter & Gamble, again, have been using real-time television spots to maximize effectiveness during the Olympics. What they've done really is, well, here's one example. AT&T, they used actual event footage of Rebecca Sonny winning a gold medal, and they aired it a day later. So of course timely, but of course it makes perfect sense, right? Because getting footage into commercial makes things more real and tangible, but also it's newsworthy. It's what people are talking about. People are talking about this Rebecca Sonny winning Olympic gold. And of course AT&T are weaving it into their commercials the day after, so people are like, whoa, it does deliver that wow factor. And of course if people are talking about it, then people are going to start talking about your brand. Kind of good, but also surprise and delight, which is nice. And last thing for me this week.
New Zealand's pretty special, right? But do I really need to tell you how great we've got it again? And do I need to do it from this bustling metropolis? Do I need to magically transport myself from one glorious vista to another? Oh. Do I need to remind you of our unique cultural heritage? Or should we go over our recent triumphs? Or maybe I don't need to say anything. Maybe when things are this good, we can just enjoy them.
Go forth, good people, and I'll see you next week.